Suck the money out through the machines.
We had a hooker one time in Vegas. Not had a hooker, but we had a hooker proposition. Me and my buddy Eddie, and she was one of the hottest chicks I've ever seen in my life. And my buddy Eddie was like, "How much?" And she was like $1,300. I can't.
Why can't you?
Because I'm trying to drive home tonight.
This is good for driving.
Yeah. It's just a cigarette.
Yeah, until I go, wow, my feet feel like they're glued into the...
This is space weed. It's good for driving. This makes you think you're not even driving anymore.
Yeah. Man, driving here on the, whatchamacallit, I was like, felt like I was in a video game.
It's called a highway, son. Who's the stoned one? Huh?
Yeah, what is that?
Driving in on that whatchamacallit.
I was in that thing that I always get onto. It's
that newfangled hard surface the Earth is using.
It's the thing I put the alcohol in all the time.
All those new monkeys.
My vehicle.
The new monkeys that are transporting themselves in a much more rapid way. They have this hard surface. What is it called? Whatever. Anyway. Point being.
What?
Marijuana fucks my driving up.
I could never drive high.
Really?
How can you drive high?
I do jiu-jitsu. Well, I don't drive that high. I'll be here for a few hours. I'm pretty sober by the time I actually leave, but I do jiu-jitsu high. I do a lot of things high. I do comedy high.
Does sugar stop your buzz?
But also, I have to realize I have a high tolerance.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're smoking, my last year of college, I was smoking a lot of weed, and I could smoke all night long and be fine. But now if I took like a hit, I definitely feel it. Especially, I think weed was different back then too.
Weed's good for you. Bert Kreischer, let me tell you something. Don't listen to me. Don't follow my advice because it's faulty. I have, it's a lot of trial and error, and I've made quite a few errors. I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but I'm right about this. Weed, my friend.
Look, I'm not right about everything, but I'm definitely right about
my friend,
this.
is good for you. And what you are afraid of with weed is what we all need. We all need a little humility. We all need to be terrified by the Matrix. We all need a view of the great beyond. And what weed gives you is a terrifying feeling of your mortality. It gives you a feeling of insecurity, a feeling of what you can call paranoia, but because what it is you've dropped all the blinders all around you, and you realize how ridiculous this proposition is, period. There is no way around the fact that it's ridiculous. We are, in fact, just one part of a universe. It's above our head. There's no actual ending to any of it, and it just goes, and we're a part of it, and we're floating in it, and we're only here for a little bit, and we don't know what we're doing. And everybody knows as much as you do, and you don't know anything. I mean, there's people who know more facts, they know more about the laws of physics, they know more about, but the purpose of it all, or where it ends, or what it's for, or what is there a meaning to this? Is this just a device to move entropy forward? Is this just a device for innovation? What are the humans? What is this life?
Yeah.
No one knows. Not a fucking one. No one. That's why you need marijuana. It's out. Shit.
Here.
Because marijuana lets you know, man. I got a lighter.
That's what a beer commercial
is. Lets you know, dude. That's why we need marijuana commercials. It's not bad for you. It's just bad for pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Those fuckheads. This is supposed to be America, land of the free, home of the brave. You're locking people up for a plant that makes you silly. There's nothing fucking free or brave about that. That's bitch moves, right? That's a bitch move. That's the only person who would lock you up for weed. If you had to create your own society, if it was Burt World, and you had, there's 100 people, and you claimed that you were the king of Burt World, and you got to establish all the laws. Could you imagine if you said no pot? You'd be like, fuck you, Burt.
Yeah. I'd allow pot.
Yeah. 100 people.
I'd make everyone shave their heads.
I think we all need to live like they live in Afghanistan, man. Just warlords. Warlords residing over small pieces of land.
Do you think you'd be a warlord?
I don't know. I'd work for one, maybe. That's better. You don't want to be the guy in front. You don't want to be the figurehead. You don't want to be Bush. You'd rather be Dick Cheney. You know what I'm saying?
So you'd find a warlord in your
what I would do is
community?
I would teach the warlord jiu-jitsu or something. I
think
hang
you'd
out
be
with
a blacksmith.
the warlord.
I see you as a blacksmith.
I always wanted to learn how to make one of those samurai swords where they fold the blade over and over again.
Yeah,
I would take a trade. That's what I would do.
Really?
What I'm saying is that I think we really would be better off. If you want to have any government at all, it should be very local. But just a small group.
Yeah.
And then the only time the federal comes in is when the groups start arguing. And then the federal comes in and goes, dudes, relax. We're all here temporarily. Keep it together. Hundreds of people, not millions. That's
ridiculous.
What
I'd do in a warlord. Brian, where do you think you'd fit in a warlord society?
You would dominate, Bert Kreischer. What are you talking about? You would be the life of the party.
I'd be the life of a party. I'd be the guy by the fire, lighting the fire first, putting it out at the end of the night. Like going, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden in a fucking village with a fire. I'm sure we still have houses.
Because that makes for an awesome story.
Yeah.
That's why Conan the Barbarian was always cool.
I would make
13
saddles.
Years old. When I was 13 years old is when I became addicted to Conan the Barbarian books.
Yeah.
The Robert E. Howard books.
Really?
You ever read them?
No. I didn't even know there were books.
Oh, brilliant books. We've talked about them a few times. So
Conan wasn't a man of much words. Like, what did they just write? Was it a lot of like narrative?
Oh, that's not necessarily true. In the books he talked.
Really?
But the adventures were so fucking deep. It was all about this guy named Robert E. Howard. And what's that guy's name that's on... he was in Full Metal Jacket. He played Pyle in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, Oliver Graydon?
Wait, Vincent D'Onofrio?
Vincent D'Onofrio. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio played this guy, Robert E. Howard, in a movie about his life. Because Robert E. Howard was this like really eccentric character who wrote all these fantastic novels of fantasy, but like lived with his mother in his 30s and killed himself.
Yeah.
But he was responsible for Conan the Barbarian and Kroll the Conqueror and all these different fantasy books this dude wrote. They were fucking awesome, dude. When you're 13, it's a 13-year-old boy's version of Twilight. Is what it's like. They're just these fantastic fucking stories of, sorcerers and fucking sword fights and demons, and it's just awesome shit.
Man, and you read that? I never read shit at 13.
Dude, those were the books, man.
I read
When
That Was
13.
Then, This Is Now at 13.
You ever watch that
was my shit.
Swan Lake or the little mouse that rode the motorcycle?
No.
Ralph?
You never got into comic books or anything?
No, I never read a comic book in my life.
Really? What about you, Brian? You got into comic books?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I actually just read The Walking Dead, and I
heard
read the
it's
whole.
the shit. I heard
And
it's
then I
amazing.
started watching it. I just watched the first episode.
So fucking
it
good.
follows the comic almost exact. Like the timeline's a little switched around, but it's so amazing how well they.
It's a good show.
So good.
That's the only show I'm watching these days. The only fiction show I'm watching.
Really?
Yeah, Walking Dead.
I tried to get into
I
everything.
gave up. Why?